What's going on, everyone? Lalit here. Today we got the Voyager app. We'll be looking at what it is overall, as well as have some hands-on experience and some time with the app to kind of see the features as well as the interest that you'll be getting, all to determine if Voyager is the best option to get interest on your cryptocurrency. The structure of this video is going to be looking at what is Voyager as a whole in the beginning, and then go on to our hands-on experience, and then finally wrap up with some of my thoughts based on some experience with both Voyager as well as some of its competitors like your Celsius, BlockFi, Nexo, Geminis of the world, etc., etc. With that, please feel free to forward with the timestamps below, but you know how it is. With that, we'll get straight into it. Starting us off, Voyager, its official company name is Voyager Digital Limited. Currently, it's available through mobile app only, with the desktop version in development at this time. You can buy and sell cryptocurrency on the app, as well as hold your funds within the app, and you'll get interest accordingly. One of the unique selling points of Voyager is that it actually has its own token known as VGX. And this VGX token, having it, gives you certain type of capability, aka known as a utility token, which allows extra interest to be earned and other benefits which we'll get into later on in the video. Feel free to pause as I'll put some extra information on screen to describe what Voyager is as a whole. Voyager aims to be one of the top-notch platforms in terms of trading for cryptocurrency, and with that, there's $0 in terms of commission on the app. At the same time, it's $10 to actually open an account with Voyager, and that's great. But at the same time, if you're interested in a referral bonus, you'll need to trade your first $100 within the app to be eligible for it. Voyager has its competitors, but at the same time, it's one of the few that's actually listed publicly on the stock market. It's specifically on the OTC markets, and here's some more information. Looking on Yahoo Finance, you got Voyager Digital Limited, ticker symbol VYGVF. So it's traded OTC, aka over-the-counter markets, closed at 21.25 here today. And looking at more detail of the graph in general, if you look at 1 day, kind of the price movement of 5 days, and right now at the time of this recording, crypto is booming pretty much. So looking at the 1 month graph, you got a little kind of correction here and there, but looking at the 6 months and year to date, it's going to be similar. But 6 months ago, right here, 95 cents is where it was traded at. And fast forward, you're looking at a high of around $29 even. And over the last 5 years, in general, it's kind of been here, been on the OTC markets, pretty much a penny stock. But lo and behold, here we are with everything coming together. VGX is the name of Voyager's token. And with that, let's look into some of the price in terms of Voyager's token overall, some of the history behind it, and overall with it, what type of benefits are we looking at? Voyager token at the time of this recording is $4 even. And scrolling down and looking at the graph, at the price graph over here, basically you got year to date right over here. So over here you're looking at 15 cents, and all the way up here it's $6.87 roughly, and right now it's trading at $4 even. And if you look at the all-time graph, basically over here in Jan 2018, right over here you got around this $7.98, and looking over here, basically you have $6.87. Now this seems pretty as if it's even, but looking more carefully, if you look at market cap, actually it was a lot less back in the day in Jan 2018 versus what it is now. And just naturally with more tokens and supply and the value of Voyager going up, basically higher market cap. And before this wasn't the case, but wanted to show this because the price versus the market cap, especially in crypto and naturally in the stock market too, not to go on a tangent, basically this is an important point to look into. On their website, investorvoyager.com, essentially they have information over here, and at the highest level you can basically buy VGX token naturally through the app Voyager itself. And essentially VGX generates 3% interest APR when held in the Voyager app, and will soon offer cashback rewards and other exclusive features. Feel free to pause here, but at a high level, how to buy VGX step by step. At the bottom over here, trading on the Voyager app is currently available to all US residents excluding New York State. They have come out with some of their Voyager loyalty program information recently, and so the VGX token utility model, feel free to pause, but at the highest level, basically you have 3 tiers. You have Adventurer, Explorer, and Navigator. And as we went over, each of these VGX tokens at the time of this recording is roughly $4. So we're talking about tier 1 at basically 2,000 USD. If you were to buy tokens today to qualify for these levels, naturally 20,000 USD, and over here 80,000 USD. I'll debrief on my thoughts of the Voyager program with their token as a whole towards the end of the video. And one last part over here is that it says desktop has free access if you're one of these tiers. So the assumption that I have essentially is if you're not one of these tiers, you're probably going to have to pay for that desktop feature. And at this time, desktop site, it's in development, but Voyager is only mobile only at the time of this recording. Voyager has been increasing in terms of popularity, but if you ever ask the question of how are they actually doing this, how is this possible for all these different platforms to be on their own and just make it happen, one of the situations with Voyager is that they actually have a partnership with Celsius. We have a review of Celsius on the channel, but at the highest level, here's some extra information. Celsius is one of Voyager's top tier partnerships, as Celsius's institutional platform helps power Voyager's interest program. By working with Celsius, we're able to offer no lockup trading and outstanding interest rates in a safe, secure, and compliant manner, and pass the unique benefits of digital assets to our customers. Also, if you want to see anything else specific to Voyager or in general on the channel, do comment down below. But with that, let's get straight into the app. When you open up the app, it looks like this. So it takes a second to load. I've seen this pretty consistently, but just want to give an honest review here. So at the top, invite a friend and earn Bitcoin. So check out the referral link below. And so you have top news at the top, and essentially you have right here 1 hour, as well as 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, and basically you can filter on certain time frames for the actual assets themselves, aka the cryptocurrencies on the platform. On the left side, you have assets, and if you actually press the actual title itself, you can filter. So here it's alphabetical, A to Z. If you do it again, you go from Z to A, and one more time, it basically does a default, and what my assumption is the market cap. You can press price as well, and it does the same type of filtering, so from greatest to least with BTC at the highest price. Not necessarily market cap though. And if you flip it, you got the least, you got your BitTorrent, BTT, and right back to your market cap organization. As you scroll over to the right, you have the 1 hour change, and you have your market cap over here. So naturally when you press market cap, it can filter accordingly. So from least to greatest, looks kind of like this. And from greatest to least, press it again, this is what happens. As you scroll to the right, you got your 24-hour volume, you got 24-hour high, lows, 52-week high, 52-week low, as well as the interest. You can actually see it over here in this type of view, and they do have a different view as well, which we'll get to. But overall, as you can see, some of the high-level interest rate on the more top market cap coins, you got 6.25% for BTC, 5.25% for Ethereum, you got 2% on Doge. That's pretty cool. This is one of the few apps you get interest on Doge that I was noticing. And you got ADA, Link, and we'll get into more detail as we go on. Looking at the right side of the screen, you got this required monthly average. So 0.01 BTC in order to qualify for that 6.25% interest. And Ethereum, you got 0.5 as a minimum to actually be eligible to start earning interest through Voyager. Different currencies have different minimums. So for example, Doge, you need 5K. ADA, aka Cardano, you need 1,000, etc., etc. At the top right, if you press the person, basically your profile, you can basically see your name and some high-level information. But basically what I want to focus on from bottom to top is basically seeing that, first of all, they have a node blog. So this node blog basically gives you some of the latest information. So for example, at the time of this recording, you got May's interest, APR rates. And when you scroll down, you got information about their loyalty program and token utility model, etc., etc. And so if you go back and you look at promotions, for example, right now, looking at this for the current month that I'm recording this in, basically get 1% interest APR booster, and you can pause to see the details, but there's information like this where there is promotions for Voyager. So coming back to this menu, you have crypto interest. So if you press it, you can basically see that, hey, there's what asset, how much interest rate, and what's your required monthly average have to be for you to actually be able to earn that interest rate. And so at the top, earn interest on eligible crypto assets when you maintain a minimum balance. So how it works, if you press it, basically Voyager interest program, you can earn interest on your crypto in the Voyager app. So overall, when you scroll down, you can actually see the May interest rates. Now, what I'm going to do is, there's a long list here. So what I'll do is, you can feel free to pause to actually look at these rates, and they look like this. Coming back to the main screen over here, when you open the Voyager app, at the bottom right, you have this suitcase, briefcase looking button, aka your portfolio. So when I press it, basically at the time of this recording, I have around $128 and change in the app. I really wanted to try it out to kind of see what this whole story was about Voyager, and basically make this video to inform you upon my own experience and see if it's a good option or not. And so I deposited $101 of USD into Voyager. I used 101 of those dollars to buy 101 USDC, which would be eligible to earn some interest. And it was $100 in terms of minimum for USDC to be eligible to earn interest. And more than that, for the referral to actually work, because I wanted to try it out, I might as well be rewarded for it, and you too as well. So basically $100 of trading minimum was the case, and that's why I did this. Now, there are no fees on the app to actually perform actual trades like this with USD to USDC and items like this. So in the end, at around 9% interest in terms of APR, I got 75 cents in interest, and interest is paid out at the 5th business day of the month, which I wasn't a big fan of, but it's fine, it's what it is, because it's more systematic with other of its competitors. For example, Celsius pays you weekly, you got Nexo paying you daily, and on the other hand, you have BlockFi paying monthly. So at least there's a date that you know for sure Voyager will pay you this interest. But at the same time, it was one of those where I deposited the money mid-March, for example, and in April, I hadn't gotten nothing, not even a prorated amount of interest. And you do need a daily required average to be eligible for interest. But net, it was just a confusing situation. And with so much support, if you want to reach out and then waiting for them to get back, on this type of situation, I thought, okay, let's wait till the next month. And finally, I got my interest basically a month and a half later. The BTC I received was essentially the referral bonus over here, and that's basically the highlight that I think is important to show on this portfolio page. Overall, now I'm just going to tap through the app for a few seconds just to show you that other than this primary main screen, and when you actually go to the portfolio view, when you go back, you can basically go back to our initial menu with your settings, your profile settings, and if you press search, for example, let's just say we type in BTC as an example, you basically can see some high-level information of the graph. You can also see, your bid, your ask, and basically buy BTC, sell BTC. And the biggest point that I want to point out over here is if you look at the bid-ask spread, 55,500, I'm rounding it off here, and 56,100. If you look at that, it's basically around $600 to $650 in terms of spread. And this is a point that we'll touch on towards the end of the video in my debrief. To debrief, I have 3 takeaways that I want to share with you, which hopefully can help you decide whether or not Voyager is actually the correct or better decision for you than choosing another platform. First is going to be the bid-ask spread. With that bid-ask spread, seeing that example of it being around that $600 to $650 range of difference, basically, yes, we have $0 commissions on the app when we're actually trading, but at the same time, if you're putting market orders and you're selling instantaneously, even if there's a leg up or an actual gap up with BTC, just for whatever reason, chances are you may not have been assigned the best possible price compared to other platforms. A simple way around this is basically to put a limit price, and that's great. But basically not knowing this, and if you're basically new to everything cryptocurrency or Voyager in general, this bid-ask spread could actually hurt you very quick, very fast. And just for context, with other sites, for example, LedgerX, which you have a video on the channel about, or even comparing on Robinhood, for example, depending if you're trying to use Robinhood for trading from that perspective, then overall the bid-ask is more in that $200 kind of difference, and it can be even lesser given the situation, given volume, etc. The second point is probably going to be obvious, but seeing that minimum requirement for the tiers of having VGX token, seeing that, for example, at the rate of $4 USD per VGX token, even on the low end, you're talking about a 2,000 USD commitment with the app. Now that may be worth it in the long term, and that's great, but I honestly don't think it's the best for every situation, especially for someone dabbling new into this passive income or interest with cryptocurrency. I think Voyager is a great, easy to use app, but I also feel that the barrier of entry is more than not, especially when you compare to no minimums, but still getting great interest and great features on other apps. That being said, on the flip side, if you do the math and it makes sense for VGX tokens for you to actually have them to get the utility in terms of the benefits that they actually have for you, then hey, that could be a great decision. And at the same time, because it is another altcoin of sorts, when you think about it, VGX in the long term could go to the moon, let's just say, with more adoption, more money with Voyager, or Voyager just succeeding as a platform. So there's always that end as well. Third point is pretty much personal preference. Maybe because I have more experience with all the other apps and I'm comfortable with them, and maybe I didn't find Voyager till later on, maybe that's why I'm influenced more to not stay away from Voyager, but there's nothing really pulling me to actually transfer over to Voyager or make me stay with them or put more funds with them, as you can see with the portfolio balance that I have with them. I really just wanted to try the app to see if it was a good fit for me, and after trying it, I still say, hey, it's a good recommendation to try out, but in terms of actually getting that value, let's say maybe when you have those VGX tokens or when they release more benefits, maybe there's more. But for me, overall, I'll be sticking with the other folks, and I'm just glad to have another option like Voyager to understand and see if there's any future capabilities, but at this time, there's nothing pushing me more to, hey, let's move everything over to Voyager. It's the next big thing, etc., etc. If you came to this part in the video, then you know how it is. Thanks for coming to the end. And with that, I'll cue the outro. Peace.